the 10, then that means that they've paid their due, and no one is coming back to come after them unless there's something else. Is 10 points and you lose this, and I don't know.
No,
that's...
it's 10 points. What Everton actually said is they were appealing the decision because Everton worked with the Premier League voluntarily, unlike City. All is set for the Tusker Safari Sevens rugby tournament, and with all the teams gunning for the top prizes of the tournament, which kicks off tomorrow on Saturday morning at the Kenya Rugby Football Union grounds in Ngong Road, Nairobi. The Kenya Shujaas are going to be in Pool A alongside the Red Whalers, Uganda, South African All-Stars, and the Tropic Sevens team. Germany will headline Pool B, which features the Morans, Samurai, KCB, and Western Province Select. Kenya Lioness will feature in the women's competition alongside Uganda, TAC Sevens, Cubs, and Tropic Sevens ladies team. The 2021 losing finalists Germany are the top seed of this year's tournament, together with Shujaa. So we are seeing, guys, you're seeing a return for Tusker Safari Sevens after, I think the last time that we had one, the tournament was in 2019, 2020 because of the pandemic, it wasn't there. 2021 and 2022, the tournament was hosted. It's gone back to its original home, the KRFU rugby grounds. And as we see this year, it doesn't have a lot of high-profile teams, but it does have a few teams. This is a tournament that Kenya should be using as a warm-up and as a way of picking up their team that they are going to be use it for the qualification tournament. Pretty much, there's not much that can be said. We're just hoping that the team can be able to win tomorrow and can improve from here and going on. And najua hamna maswali kwa rugby, so we'll move on to soccer, where currently going on, right, Omosh Tulia. Currently going on is the World Cup qualifiers, and Kenya played yesterday the first game in the World Cup qualifiers, losing 2-1 to Togo at home, away to Togo. Kenya have another game.
Gabon.
Yeah, they lost to Gabon. So thank you, OneMic. Yeah, Kenya have another game that is gonna be next week. Kenya in a tough group. It's not a really tough group, but in a group whereby they're playing Togo. They're playing Togo, Ivory Coast. Why am I saying Togo all the time?
Gabon.
Yeah, Kenya in the same group with Ivory Coast, Burundi, Gabon, Gambia, and Seychelles. Ivory Coast lead the group right now, having played one game. They've won their first game 9-0, leading with 9 goals. Burundi are second in that pool, having won their game 3-2, and Gabon also a third with a 2-1 win. Gambia a fourth with having lost 3-2 to Burundi, and Kenya a fifth, having lost 5-1 to Gabon, and Seychelles. Seychelles are closing up that group with a difference of -9 goals after having lost to Ivory Coast. Kenya plays Seychelles on Monday, November 20th, and that is a game that we expect Kenya to lose. So, having listed those teams that are in that team, Ivory Coast, Burundi, Gabon, Gambia, Kenya, and Seychelles, I just want to bring it back to you guys in the panel. What do you think? Do you feel Kenya are going to qualify? Remember, the number one team qualifies automatically, and then the number two have a possibility of qualifying based on the best runners-up. So there are going to be a few slots that are going to be qualified. They're going to be used to qualify for the best runners-up. Ali, I'll start with you. Do you see Kenya pulling out of this group, or is it a hard ask for them?
To be honest, I'd love, I'm Team Kenya all day, but I don't see us pulling out of it. The only chance, if we had defeated Gabon earlier this week, I mean, Gabon were clearly better than us, but we scored fast. So I was hoping we could sit on that one goal and win.
We had chances.
But we didn't. So I mean, it's gonna be tough. The Harambee Stars is sometimes very unpredictable. There are days when they can come out and play very well, but I'm worried if, for example, we have a draw or lose to Shelly. That's gonna be a big problem, and then Burundi. I've never seen the Burundian team play, but of course, Ivory Coast, I'm not expecting a result.
Burundi team is actually pretty decent.
Burundi is pretty decent. It's pretty good.
They have a lot of
One
guys
us,
who
properly.
play international. Some of them even play pro in Kenya.
Okay.
And they're very good.
Or then more reason to worry. And personally, I honestly think the upcoming World Cup, it's gonna be in 2026.
But don't they have slots for more African teams?
They have slot for more teams. It's 48 teams. I don't know how many of those go to Africa. I don't know whether it's gonna be.
I think we
7
got
or
2
8.
more.
Okay.
Out of it.
So
I could be wrong.
So here's my thing. I honestly don't think Kenya is prepared for the World Cup. We should be preparing to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations that I believe is gonna be in Morocco, and then in 2027
We are not playing that tournament. Remember, we
were banned.
We were banned, so we didn't play for that.
We didn't qualify.
holy
We
Moses.
couldn't even do
Play
the
the
qualifications,
qualification.
remember?
Yeah. So then I guess what we should work on right now is African
So
Cup
the-
2027 African Cup. We are automatic qualifiers.
That one we qualify.
Yeah. So I think we should be working on doing well in that tournament, because right now, as assembled, I honestly don't think we have any chance. And I don't know. I did see they wanted to pick up. I don't know whether Nabi Kibunguchi, joined Harambee Stars, but I think there was talk of him, joining Harambee Stars from the US. But I don't know whether that happened. And I don't know if we do a good job in assembling our players who play in foreign countries. But right now, I think things are not looking good. Mika, back to you.
I was reading a comment here by Drew Kimani. I had Ruto talk to Charles about Gor joining the Premier League. And I think actually Gor do have a chance of joining the Premier League, because today there was some shocking news in the Premier League. For the first time, we've seen a Premier League team has been deducted points. Everton were deducted 10 points because of financial fair play. This comes in after Everton did exceed more than their financial fair play allocation, and they did try to say that this was posed due to poor operating and an operating environment during the COVID time, and which had seen the team quality dropping, and thus they had spent more than they were allocated. Financial fair play basically tells teams to live within their means. The teams are given an allowance of going to an excess of 105 million over a period of 3 years in the amount of money that they can use to buy players and pay their wages. Now, with Everton getting 10 points deduction out of breaching only one financial fair play rule, we are left with questions wondering what is going to happen to Manchester City and Chelsea. Manchester City have 115 violations against them that the Premier League is looking at, and Chelsea have around 20 violations. There is talk that these violations might lead to those two teams being docked more than 30 points or even relegation. Omosh, as a Chelsea fan, are you worried about this, or do you think that by the time it gets to Chelsea's time, they will have figured out a way of balancing out? Basically, it's looking bad for you guys.
Malaysia in those points.
So the way if they go by what they've done in the past, and I think Man City has been.
They've never done it in the past.
Okay,
Everton was the first one.
I thought that. Remember, there was a time when Man City there was a violation that they had done.
That was in Europe. Man City paid a fine of millions. Now the Premier League. Remember, the Premier League is being the Premier League doesn't want an independent regulator to be to be formed to regulate them. So they're trying to show that they can be able.
So they're trying to autocorrect.
Of the league. Yes.
Okay,
And
so
they've used
I think, and I don't know how. Okay, so with the one of Everton, were the points deduction immediate, or were they trying to
the point
space it out
deductions that
and
immediate
saying
right
that
now.
we'll
Everton right now have 4 points. They've been
Is
deducted
number
10
19.
points, then they've been dropped to number 19.
okay, and I think they can play themselves out of their position. But anyway, I don't see it as a problem.
No, they can't play themselves out of their position. This season was the best season for them to lose those 10 points. They just need to win one game and they're out of relegation.
Okay, well, that's what I meant. That they basically can come out of.
They can come out of that relegation zone.
Yes, that's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to say. And if being that they've been docked the 10, then that means that they've paid their due, and no one is coming back to come after them unless there's something else. Is 10 points and you lose this. And I don't know.
No.
That's...
It's 10 points. What Everton actually said is they were appealing the decision because Everton worked with the Premier League voluntarily, unlike City, who are using lawyers to try to beat those charges. Everton actually did face up with the charges, and they said yes, this is the reason why.
Correct.
And one of the most was COVID during COVID season, because there were no fans in the stadium. They didn't get that. There was a reduction on TV revenue, so they didn't make enough money as they used to. And the club was in dire need. They needed to buy players to be able to fix that, to improve their team.
Correct.
So that is how they said they couldn't make the money, and they went. And do you know the funny thing is, Everton actually exceeded by 10 million. You are given a leeway of up to 105 million pounds. Everton was 115 million pounds.
Okay, so
they
I
had 10
don't see it as an
over.
issue for Chelsea. Meaning
No,
whatever.
Chelsea have
20.
Chelsea have 20
violations.
Yeah, but
among those 20 violations, that includes money that was paid, money that was
by
paid
Abramovich. Yeah.
illegally to agents, players, families. Chelsea and Man City also were not making enough money. They cooked their books to show that they were making enough money than what they were spending.
Yeah, there's an issue of money with Abramovich. I know that. For
Yeah.
me, whatever it is, I just don't see that the punishment is going to be so retrogressive to the point where you kick a team out totally because of that punishment. I don't think that
But
the
then
punishment is
it
supposed
has
to
happened-
be
it has
retrogressive.
happened
So
before.
let's wait and see what happens.
Now I
It has
think
happened before in football, though.
I think
remember Juventus.
Juventus was kicked out of the Serie A. Now remember,
I'm not going to use that because I'm always going to go with what the English Premier League is
but-
doing
but
as
it-
opposed